Hi, everyone. I am Lauren Konkar-Sheehy, the Executive Director of the Garden State Film Festival. And today we have with us the filmmakers that created the animation of the Collier Youth Services and Overview. So Brendan Crackey, Director and Animator. We have Stephen Lance, who is the narrator and sound supervisor, along with J.R. Sanson, who is the sound designer, and Matt Stevenson, who did the Foley music and the slide trombone. Hey guys, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good, thanks. So I love Collier Youth Services. As you know, I've done a lot of projects for them. I just completed another one a week ago. So tell me the process of making this animation and how, everyone watches animations, but they don't understand how tedious it is of sitting there and doing everything. And it's just unbelievable. So tell us, how do you do it?
Like you said, it can be very tedious at times, but it's a fun process. Trying to work out how exactly to get one thing to go to another. It's part of the fun to do that. But yeah, so essentially, when the project came to me, I worked with my contact Jillian Gletto at Collier, and she sent me a bunch of rough storyboard ideas for all the different things they wanted to touch upon, the scenes and whatnot. And they gave me a very basic outline of how the style they wanted. They wanted that very like a basic style, almost like you'd see on road signs where the silhouetted characters and very simple shapes and whatnot. And so I just took it, ran with it. A lot of the designs were like I said, based on concepts they wanted to see. People holding hands, and they wanted a lot of happy little montages of stuff. But as far as how the scenes connected one to the other, that was me, and I just kind of fleshed out everything little by little as it went along. A lot of back and forth, a lot of creative collaboration between her and me.
I love that. I love Jillian. And then Stephen, you can't have the animation really without the narration. So how did that go?
Thank you, Lauren. What is so interesting about doing the sound design, and JR will attest to this too, if you're doing the sound design for a film, a lot of the sound is already there. You can hear people talking, unless you have to ADR it or loop it. And you can hear some background noises if it's there, unless you have to, loop that. But when you get an animated film presented to you for sound, it's very odd because it's completely silent. It's completely silent. There's nothing there at all. And you have to watch it and get used to the idea of what's going to bring this to life. Mm-hmm. And that's where myself and our sound designer, J.R. Sanson, came in.
Awesome. Tell us more, J.R.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the problem with that kind of thing. What you have to do is use your imagination to say, hey, we're going to have some music, stop here and start again, to give you an idea that we've gone to another section. And all these little sounds like little kids running and cars stopping and birds tweeting. When it happens, you got to hear it, because that's what sound does to a movie and a TV show, is it brings it to life. And everything's got to make a sound. So when it moves, you got to sit there until you get something right. And when you hear it and you like it, it's right. And that's basically the entire process of that thing. We had to go through it from beginning to end and make it come to life, which I think it did. So
it totally did. It's great for the viewer to feel, knowing as a filmmaker, but also for our general audience that don't really understand what it goes into making these things. You really captured the story, but also I always say I feel audio besides just hear it. So it was perfect. Everything you just said, the birds tweeting, and also with this simple animation, it really comes through. It was awesome. Matt, tell us about playing the music.
So it was a lot of fun. As a teacher, I've taught about Foley work a million times, but this is one of the first times that I've actually gotten to go into a studio and do some Foley work. So it was new for me. Setting up in a sound booth, I brought my trombone, and Steven had reached out to me and sent me the video clip. He said, here's what I want. I want some kind of sliding sound. What can you do?
Yeah,
So I got a chance to tool around and kind of use my own creativity there. We played with a slide whistle. I played with a trombone. We were thinking about a flute, just a million different options. And being able to go in and record in the sound booth, bring the trombone in, try different things and hear them all mixed together was a super cool experience that I've never had. It was honestly a ton of fun, just getting to record and hear the different loops put together and layered over each other.
That's so cool. Stevie, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I did. What happened was in that scene, and I don't know.
For these kids, their road towards a successful future will be bumpy.
To the clip, there's a wavy line that goes around and then kind of opens up to a road. So we looked at all this wavy line music. We said, oh, harem music, belly dance music, snake charmer music. And we've got something, and, you know, JR and I came up with a cut of music that went with those lines, you know, the da, 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 you know, that kind of a sound. But I said, when the line opens up to the road, I want to hear that happen. So even before I talked to Matt, I tried every sound whistle that I had, every slide, a wooden slide, a metal slide, a plastic slide whistle. And the problems with those is the slide is only so long. You can only do it for so long. Yeah. And it just didn't work. And then our music director, John Albino at the company that we work with, the Bulletproof Sound Design, said, why don't you call Matt? So we did. And Matt talked about it, like he said, a flute and some slide whistles. And he said, you know, the sliding trombone is the right way to go because he can do it as slow and as long as we need it. So JR layered the sound. Maybe JR, you want to talk about how you layered the sound?
That's exactly what we did. We started with that bass harem kind of sound and then had him layer several, I believe it was 4 or 5 tracks of the actual trombone sliding. And we even tried a harmony part to it, like it was a vocal. And in the end, it was just a mixture of all of those sounds that you hear over a period of about 10 seconds. That's how hard we worked on 10 seconds.
Wow.
That's always one thing that I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize immediately is how much work can go into a very small part of a scene.
Right.
Because I mean, like for instance, like maybe the one scene I have of the kid, going back to animation, not necessarily sound, but like the one scene I had of the kid jumping rocks and jumping over the potholes and stuff like that, that took me probably a week to do. And it's a very short scene in the whole entirety of the animation, but like, because there's a lot of intricacies and whatnot, and adding in the sound, like that's a whole other thing unto itself. And I also want to bring up, as interesting, is when I got the project initially, there was no plans for narration at all or whatever. It was basically, I had started animating it with the intent that, because they gave me a video that they wanted to like sort of emulate the style, and that video was completely silent, solely based on you reading the text. And I had made the animation starting with that in mind, that I would try to make everything as visual as possible, make it legible as possible. That way you can read it well enough while watching the animation go by. But then I knew I wanted to bring on Steve and the team to do the sound effects for it. And then when he saw it, he was like, you know, this really needs narration. I was like, oh, you think so? I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. Let's see what we can do. And then he worked on it. And then after seeing it like it is right now, I was just like, you're completely right. Like it helped the certain areas of the animation like breathe a lot easier. You were able to, you were able to read it too, but also that gave a little bit of room to where, like, because I was one of the challenges of the whole animation was to make it visually interesting. So you had the words. Also, I wanted some actions, but sometimes you don't want the actions of the characters to distract you from what you want to read. So there's kind of like a give and take with what to show. But having Steve narrate the thing, it allowed you to still read it if you were paying attention to it, but also you can now pay attention to the animation more, which, I mean, animating text is fun, but the characters and stuff is more of what I would like people to pay attention to. So having Steve read it, it allowed you to pay attention to the other stuff I did.
That's awesome. I just want all the viewers to know that the Collier Youth Services is very close to my house. The mission of the Collier Youth Services is to provide at-risk youth a chance to grow toward their potential in an environment that promotes belonging, dignity, and hope. So they have the middle school, they have a high school, they have Cattery Day Camp. They have so many different services. So if you're looking up Collier Youth Services, you'll be able to find everything they offer. And another important piece I'd like to remind the world is that you mentioned there was no sound in the beginning. The Garden State Film Festival is ahead of the class with ADA and everything that goes along with being accessible to all. So during our annual festival, and even when we do our year round, we always have at least one block that has subtitles. We're trying to do more than one block. I would really like to have even the English speaking films be subtitled, because it's so important for us to be accessible. And with the animation and having no sound, you know, it's important to be able to visually read the text, but you need to hear it too. So it's like, it's even better that you have added all of those components. And once, you know, when Collier eventually puts it on YouTube, if they do, you know, they'll have subtitles for free on YouTube. But this is the world premiere of this 7-minute animation homegrown short. How does that make you guys feel?
It's crazy.
Well, I want to tell you, Lauren. Yeah.
You know, I mean, like this would be this would be one of the first times something I've worked on has been shown this widely. I've only had a few other projects before shown in a few festivals, but this seems to be like it's going to be the widest reaching one. So cool. I mean, with it being shown here and then also having them afterwards use it for however they want to promote it. It's just cool that my work will live on past and then do what it needs to do. Also, the fact that it's actually being used as a piece to hopefully bring awareness and attention to their services. So having it have that extra little piece of purpose to it is neat.
Nice, Stevie.
Yeah, Lauren, what I wanted to first give JR the credit when he when he saw the video for the first time, the film, he's the one who suggested doing narration.
Oh,
now,
cool.
The text was already on the screen.
Yeah.
So had we decided to do narration with Brandon ahead of time, he said he would have done the wording a little differently. So now I was stuck to have to narrate and inflect with the flow of the words that Brandon had. He adjusted some, but there were times when he didn't expect narration to be there. And I'd have to say, at Collier School, the kids learn to swim, have fun, you know, and I'd have to paste the words with the words on the screen. So that was challenging. It took, for that 7 minutes, what was it, JR, about 4 hours in the studio to do the narration for the 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I remember many hours after that editing and adjusting, because that's what we had to do to make it seem like it was supposed to be that way. And just in defense of Brandon, if it had been a shorter piece, it wouldn't have mattered. It was the fact that it was so long that anybody that has their eyes, if you just wandered away to sip of your coffee, you would have missed a sentence or two, and every sentence in the thing is very important. So since it's a promotional piece that's supposed to be, you know, tugging on your heartstrings and getting people to open pocketbooks, it really needed Steve's warm voice telling you how great it was. So good job to both of you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited. So everyone in the world, Saturday, March 27th, 2021 at the Brookdale Performing Arts Center virtual venue, 3 o'clock to 4:15. And then the film festival starts on Tuesday, March 23rd. Everyone else in the world is postponing and canceling. I guess we're crazy because we have extended the festival to be 6 days. And so we're super excited. So we start on a Tuesday and we go all the way to Sunday, March 28th. So for more information and for tickets, please visit gsff.org. And guys, thank you so much. We're so glad that you're able to be here with us and to promote the film. And be sure to tag us in all of your social media postings so that we can help promote and get people to see this wonderful work. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren. Take care. We'll see you soon.